Sag, welcome to the in-depth version of yours and theirs. I hope you're well. I hope you're fabulous. Let's jump on into it, yeah? Show me what I need to see, please, for the Sagittarius Collective. Show me Sagittarius. Show me Sagittarius and their person, please. Show me Sagittarius and their person, please. Show me Sagittarius and their person, please. What's going on? Show me Sag. Show me Sagittarius, please. Okay. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Reverse energies as it applies. Cross-watcher same. More so does this rule apply in yours and theirs. So I'm going to start with what is essentially your side. But as I just said, reverse energies as it applies. All right. For you, you get the Ten of Cups, Two of Swords, the Fool. We're questioning the love here, but you want to remain open towards it. Positive. You do. You're showing me more optimism than, say, negativity. You have some sort of relationship energy here. And sometimes you question it. And what that question is, I don't know. Sometimes it confuses you. But for the most part, I see you being the Fool. I'm going to remain open towards relationship energy. I'm going to have a positive outlook on this. It's important to me. I share emotions with somebody, and sometimes I might question it, and I may not always be able to feel my way through it. I may not always have the answers sometimes that I think are kicking around inside me. What the questions are, I don't know. But for the most part, you're like, I am going to be open. I'm going to remain optimistic, which is very you, very much in the Sagittarian nature, and I'm going to remain open towards it. In other words, I'm going to treat this with positivity. I don't know what the questions are, but let's find out. Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Okay, I think I got a little bit better of an idea of what's going on. I have someone's energy here that's incredibly small, and it doesn't seem to be growing. Upon clarification, obviously, just by default, I will see much larger energy, but it's the baseline that is speaking a lot to me, even by saying very little. I have someone here who looks at you perpetually, but doesn't seem to do anything. So that kind of tells me over here why you're remaining open to relationship energy. You haven't lost your enthusiasm for it. You would like to open yourself up towards it. There's a question as to what it will look like. I don't know. Will I ever have a Ten of Cups with somebody? But you want to find out. And I have someone here who looks at you but doesn't seem to engage. Time has passed. They are marked with time. And nothing about their thoughts or their actual actions toward you seem to be substantial. You seem to be open to relationship energy, and I'm not necessarily as convinced with this person. I see someone who looks at you and does little else. I think you're trying to open yourself up to love in general, and not to become cynical or jaded, but that you want to be open to healthy relationship energy. You do. Even if you question it sometimes. And then I have someone here who does not seem to be sharing that activity with you. In fact, they just kind of look at you, and they don't do much else. The Nine of Swords, they would like to open up towards you. Someone is manifesting the other. I'd like to get this person to open up and talk to me, but there's a lot of stress attached to it. Now, typically this is shared, but clearly you two aren't sharing energies. Or if you did, it's now become minimized. But typically it was shared. Will I see overlapping aspects? Sure. Especially if you two have a little history. But sometimes it breaks off and becomes singular. And I got to figure out who is who here. So again, reverse energies as it applies. Justice. That's your overview. Very good. Treating yourself with justice. Am I doing right by me? Am I living up to my standards and principles of right and wrong? Am I showing myself balance? Am I being good to me? Okay. Am I challenging myself just so? All right. But am I also opening up? And do I know when to close off? Do I know when to engage? Do I know when not to? These are all balanced concepts. Am I living a balanced life? We're going to start right there. Show me justice, please, for Sagittarius. Show me justice. You might have some strong Libra in your chart. Show me justice, please. Show me justice, please. Show me justice. There's a lot of reasons why someone might watch the other, but it feels so helpless. And I want to learn, but I'm not. And I want to do something, but I'm not really. The pages are much too small. And the thing is, it sucks. They open with the Wheel of Fortune. In other words, time has passed, and it's been like this for a while. I don't know. I hope they fully open up to learning, or if they feel the need to do something, then perhaps they will. I just see you showing me this is what I'd like to achieve. It's not necessarily reflected back on them at all. I strongly suspect it isn't. Perhaps it was once upon a time. Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, the Devil. Okay, you're trying to find really strong balance in your life right now and to sort what your priorities are, as you should. And your foundation seems to be your focus. And there's the Devil here. That tells me some of you have had a pattern with the Three of Wands attached to it of waiting. Waiting for what? I don't know. But you understand to some extent it wasn't stable. It's not stable to wait. You have to look to thyself first, yeah? You have to look to yourself first to find justice. You have to look to yourself first to find stability. And if we're constantly waiting, that is neither justified nor is it stable, right? And a little bit of waiting is okay, but with the Devil attached to it, for some of you have had quite the patterns in the past of always waiting for your ships to come in, and they never did, and you attached your hopes and desires to people, places, things, etc. that were not justified. And it could be someone specifically, or some of you have an outstanding pattern. I don't know. But it felt like you were always waiting on someone else to show you fairness, balance, reciprocity, and stability, and you know that's just not a winning formula. We can't wait on others for that. We have to provide it to ourselves first. And if we do that well enough, we'll be rewarded with other people, places, things, and situations that can actually do what it is that we're already doing. Because we can better identify it in other people if we're already providing it to ourselves. So, I see you doing that. You're trying to find carefully and calmly your own sense of balance and what it is that is actually a priority to you, and this is how you are doing right by yourself. Okay? We could have some Capricorn energy surrounding you as well as Justice here. Oh, I'm sorry, Justice, Libra. It could be that someone in turn is waiting on you. I mean, again, I do see someone actively looking at you, but not doing much. But for now, I'm defaulting to you because that is your reading, okay? But yes, I could just as easily say while you're concentrating on that which is important to you, someone is kind of obsessively looking and or waiting at you, or waiting for you, I mean. True. But since it is your general overview, I'm going to go ahead and say, Sag, you might have had a little history of habitually waiting on other people to justify your own sense of happiness and existence, and that's just no good. That's just no good. In which case, again, you're doing your best to focus on that which matters. You and your priorities. Okay? Let's jump on over here to that Ten of Cups. Emotional, healthy, balanced relationship energy. Show me that Ten of Cups, please. Show me that Ten of Cups. Show me that Ten of Cups, please. Show me that Ten of Cups. Show me that Ten of Cups, please, for Sag. Nine of Swords, Two of Swords, Confusion, Knight of Pentacles. It's kind of that question of I don't know if I'll ever have this, and I don't know if I ever will. And it stresses you out. It's been like this for a long time, always wanting the best possible emotional relationship and quality with somebody, and it just never seems to chalk up that way. And that kind of puts us in a bad position of always feeling like we're left in want, and that we have no control over things. It's taking you a long time to navigate through that energy, and it's very easy to get lost in that, and it's very easy to say it happens for other people, but it never happens for me. And then in that respect of I really, really desire emotional harmony with somebody, it's not happening. We take it to a headspace, we overstress it, we overthink it when the answer is really in front of us this whole time. You either have emotional harmony with someone or you don't. That's it. There's no need to overthink it when we accept the truth of it. You either have a relationship with someone or you don't. You either have love with them that is equal and reciprocal, or you don't. And when we stop questioning that, is it there or is it not? Do they love me or not? Is this the real deal or not? Is this going to go somewhere or not? When we stop doing that, we allow the energy to flow to where it needs to. You will be with the correct person. But if you are connected to someone where you are constantly overthinking it, then you already know the answer, you just don't want to see it. So you already have the answer, Sag. And the question's been with you a long time, and you've been trying to answer the most obvious question for a long time. Now, how that relates to you in present day, I don't know. But I'm guessing you were connected to someone where you were constantly asking yourself that question. Do they really love me? Is this a relationship? Is this going anywhere? Does this mean anything? Does this mean anything to them? If you have to ask yourself the question at all, you know the answer. When someone loves the other person, they say, they do, they act. There is no question. It's already answered. There would be no question. The answer would already precede it. So, when we're constantly in that position of overthinking, it can really drag things out with the Knights of Pentacles. And I see that you are a Sag who looks at that a lot. That you have a tendency to overlook the basics because sometimes it's just easier not to have the answer, right? But then that mental conflict is such is that it becomes unbearable. Show me that Two of Swords, please. Show me that Two of Swords, show me that Two of Swords, show me that Two of Swords. And that would explain the time and the waiting. Always looking at someone else to understand if they loved you or have real feelings for you or if this meant anything to them. And that drug on for a while. For some of you, yeah. Shouldn't have to question it, honey. It either is or it isn't. Love is an absolute. It's either is or it isn't. Page of Pentacles, Five of Cups, the Six of Wands. When we better start to understand that we were in pain, the better we understand the conflict that was arising within us. I know it's all terribly vague, and I'm sorry. That means it's applying to many of you at the same time. And it is vague, even I have to admit it, but it's kind of like a backstory that's leading up to your current love energy. And it would kind of explain the low-levelness of this one. Hanged Man. I flipped out. Don't even know when that happened. And put a pause on everything to gain perspective about these very things. To question yourself. But when we better invest in our pain and our disappointment and we accept it, doesn't matter how long it takes, so long as you get there, you will feel better and understanding. Yeah, it's not that my wanting a relationship with someone that's wrong. It's just, again, if I have to ask the question, it's probably not correct. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this confusing. So when you allow yourself to feel that, the disappointment, you'll start to feel better. But I'm seeing you making a pause on your love life, making any sort of movements or advancements while you work these things out. Let's see that Fool. Show me the Fool, please. Show me the Fool. Show me the Fool. Show me the Fool, please. Nine of Wands, King of Cups, King of Swords. You're doing your best to keep your heart as well as your mind open. In the general sense, I don't see it pointed at anyone. I really don't. I see you. I still want to be in the position of taking a new journey and mean it. I do want new opportunities in love and in life. I want to pursue other things. I know this intellectually and I feel it in my heart. And it's not easy, but I am doing my best to keep myself open to it. I don't see it pointed at whoever this is. I don't. They might be a reflection of what you've experienced. And it has not been easy in love for you. You have not lost your enthusiasm. You have not lost your optimism, as I said. But it's taken you some work to to keep that heart open and to keep your mind open and not fall again for those same perilous thoughts, getting yourself overly worked up into something that should be very, very apparent and easy to understand. We either have emotional relationship energy or we don't. I shouldn't have to question it, right? I see a pause for now while you understand some very difficult concepts and you absorb some very difficult truths. And nevertheless, despite some resistance in here, I see you still being willing to keep your heart and mind open, literally. Okay? I know it's been rough. I can see that it's been rough. But not all hope is lost, and this is all the more reason why it's imperative for you to put the focus on you, show yourself justice, balance, focus on the priorities, and never put yourself in a position where you always feel like you're waiting on someone else to tell you what's going on. You should already know. If you already knew your feelings and they didn't, you still know. Okay? If they did know their feelings and you didn't, you still know. But I don't ever want you to be in a position where you always feel like you're habitually stuck waiting on someone else to know what they're feeling. That confusion comes from within. If you are so confused on the inside, there's a reason why. You're not getting the answers you need, and you should never have to ask the question to begin with. If you have to ask the question, you already have the answer. So again, you don't need to wait for anybody. You go forth into the world. Put your energy out there. People who want it and want to share it, reciprocate it, and rejoice in it will tell you. They will not leave you confused, because when you leave people confused about what their intentions are, they leave eventually. Or it shuts down, or it just becomes so confusing there's no point engaging in it. What is this? Who is this, please? The Wheel of Fortune. Show me this Wheel of Fortune, please. Show me that Wheel of Fortune. Show me that Wheel of Fortune, please. The Hermit, the Magician, so now we know who's summoning. The Wheel of Fortune, this person, they might have some Virgo, could be Virgo. They have healing qualities, and they're manifesting a stronger sense of self-happiness and love for themselves. And I respect that. That's good. Just why isn't it showing up more? That's the thing. Time has passed for this person, and they are learning more about themselves. What makes them who they are. They would like to manifest more for themselves, more love. For the self, possibly your love. Most likely, possibly this person, wanting to manifest you. To heal things with you as they heal themselves. I hope they achieve that. I do. Understanding, in short, what they want is taking a long time for them to understand that. What is best suited to them and their sense of self and happiness, right? You have to love yourself first before you can pull on someone else's love. And I see that they are doing a job, even though it's taken a long time, to understand how to love themselves so they can say what they want. So they can manifest what they want. Show me that Page of Wands, please. Show me that Page of Wands. Show me that Page of Wands. Show me that Page of Wands, please. Eight of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, the Fool. Oh, goodness me. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. They're so struggling. They're struggling so much. They're struggling so much to love themselves. They struggle so much to love themselves, which is what prohibits them from really opening up and making their energy known. Substantial, an energy you can't forget. They struggle so much to love themselves. It's like they don't fully understand their own capabilities, their own sense of individuation, independence, and freedom. They desire a similar energy to yours, to remain optimistic and open, to just kind of take life by storm, you know. But they're finding it very hard to love themselves. And in so doing, they keep their energy towards you very low. It's until this person can get to a place that they understand who they are and what they want, they're not in a position to approach you. Because you have to understand what you want first before you can do that, right? Oh boy. Oh dear, oh dear. Show me that Page of Swords, please. Show me that Page of Swords, please. Show me that Page of Swords. Show me that Page of Swords. The Tower. Somebody has yet to have their awakening. Show me that Page of Swords, please. The Six of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Chariot. They keep trying to talk themselves out of it. That's not self-love. That's not self-love. It's interesting that their energy can't make up its mind. At 1 minute, it wants to rise to the occasion. And they get so close, and then they back off. That's why they watch you. That's why they watch you, but they don't engage with you. They have big feelings, but until they put themselves in a position where they're allowed to understand what they feel, how they want to feel, and that they are indeed capable of enacting upon their own sense of freedom and independence, they're not going to come forward, and I don't think they keep talking themselves out of it. They keep talking themselves out of it, yet nevertheless their energy points itself to you. They look at you actively, but they kind of sneak away from the bond. They don't want to fully acknowledge it because that means they'd have to feel it, yet ironically that's exactly what their heart wants to do. So again, this person has quite the job of, again, understanding who they are, what makes them happy, and until they understand what makes them happy and who they are, they can't do anything. They just kind of helplessly watch you. You represent a kind of heart they would like to claim, a love that they would like to claim, but they sneak away from it. They don't acknowledge it. They won't grow into it. It's kind of like one day they say, "I know what I want." The next day they're like, "Maybe not today," and then tomorrow that's like, "No, no, 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 I don't want that." Yeah, I do. It's really odd. It's kind of a roller coaster of rides. I know what I want. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn. And then the next day comes. Okay, I'm still into this. I'm just not doing anything with it yet. And then the day after that, oh, no, I don't think I want that. No, I don't want that. And yet, this whole process revolves around their love energy, what it means to them. They told me opening, I'm dedicated to learning that, and then they started to decline energetically. I don't know why I'm seeing them, unless this is the last person who represented that love energy that you really felt you potentially could emotionally harmonize with, but all it did was make you question everything, and that you felt you waited unnecessarily for it to make itself apparent to you. And given energy like that, I get it. That actually makes a lot of sense. This is what they don't know, is that they actually have a huge potential to love themselves, and then by extension you. They have to know it first. But when they try to apply the knowledge, it's like, oh, okay, maybe not so much today. I'll get back to that goal later. And then it declines further. They're like, I'm just going to move forward in another direction. This is a little bit more. This is a little too much. I can't put all that into it. Again, Wheel of Fortune, 2 pages. And the sole topic of discussion for this person is love of the self, how they would like to come to you from an independent place. Oh, I'm not into it today. Maybe tomorrow. What's tomorrow looking like? I'm just going to kind of watch Sag, but not actually engage. I'd like to. My chariot's pointed in that direction, but oh wait, no, it's not. Why am I saying this? Unless it's your lesson, honey. If you have to question it, you already know your answer. Someone who, again, is invested in keeping you in their life doesn't give you questions. They don't give you excuses. They don't try to pawn you off, give you mixed signals. They let you know straight up what's going on, what they want, what they expect, what their goals are, relationship or otherwise. That way, you two can figure out if you're on the same page and understand if you're right for each other, and more importantly, keep each other in your lives. I can see why you're showing me such intensity towards balance to that which matters, your priorities, your foundation. It feels like you hung around waiting way too long for someone to understand what they want. And it's like one day they do, the next day they don't. One day they're inspired, the next day they take that inspiration off the self and say, not today. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Again, that's some very low energy. In other words, they're not invested enough in themselves. Everything starts with yourself. And I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. And maybe one day people will understand it better. Everything starts with the self. This person is showing themselves so little self-interest. How can they possibly show it to you? Do they want love for themselves? Do they want to know what they want? Right? Yeah. But it's like any other goal. If you don't exercise the goal, you don't develop discipline. And if you don't develop the discipline, it's just going to fall through. That's exactly what this is like. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to make it my new goal. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And day 1, day 2, day 3 is kind of strong. And then like, okay, maybe not as strong for the next couple of days, but I'm still into it. I'm going to develop that. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You know what? Now's not a good time. Now's not a good time. I still want to, but I can't actually justify it with any real action. I'm not showing any sort of dedication to the goals. I still have the goal, but I'm not actually putting work into the goals. You see what I'm saying? Love is no different. So, I mean, again, someone who wants to show up for love, contribute to it consistently in a way that makes sense to you both. They do it because they don't want to lose it. That's it. They want to make sure it's going to stick around. And you stuck around for this person, waiting for the big reveal. I don't know how long, but it was enough for you to cause conflict within you. You might have even felt that your waiting got to the point of obsessive. So use this person as an example. If you really want to remain open to love life and the glory of it all, you got to prove it. And you telling me that you're very much, where they showed me pages, you're showing me kings. Okay. If you really want to remain open, with an open heart and an open mind, you have to prove it. And I have every reason to believe that you are. It does not do to sit around and wait. I can see why you wanted the question answered. I do. They have a lot of potential of love inside them. And they want it. What human being wouldn't? But it's also like it's too hard. Not with you, but it's like with them. It's too hard to really discover what I want. I know I said I would. But it's too hard to understand my heart. So, If you feel occasionally like their energy is pulling on you, manifesting you, it is because it's there, even if it's low level. Okay. Well, speaking of which, let's show me that Magician, please. Show me that Magician, please. Show me that Magician. Show me that Magician, please. Show me the Magician, please. The Fool, the Two of Cups, Jesus, strength. That's all this person wants, is to really open up. You're telling me that you have no problem being the Fool, okay? After a loss, after hurt, after injury, you're still open to the idea of greeting the world with enthusiasm. I told you they want that too, but it's like they don't know how to do it or develop it or reach it from a place of independence that says I can act. They don't emotionally invest in their own sense of freedom. Like, they're not used to saying I can do this and mean it. You know? Because that's the Magician here, that's the Fool here. They just want the love. They want to share love. Very strongly. Very much. But they have to want the love in themselves first. Otherwise, we never go after what we want. You know? It's not enough to say, to look at a Van Gogh painting and be like, man, I wish I knew how to paint. You have to want to love to do it. To learn how to do it. And that can take years. And you have to practice it. Practice it. So it's kind of like this person looking at themselves and says, I would love to learn to love myself like that and go after what I want. And then time passes and it's kind of like, I mean, it's a nice idea. I'm not going to do it. It requires a certain level of independence on their part, and for some reason that seems to be the piece that they are most uncomfortable with. The freedom to choose. The freedom to exercise discipline that has to do with feelings. Saying, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I love, this is what I want. Otherwise, what they would manifest with you is quite beautiful. It's quite lovely, it's quite simple. Show me that Knight of Cups, please. Show me that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups, please. The Lovers, Page of Cups, the World. It's kind of like what was available energetically once upon a time cycled out. It had to. The vulnerability, the Knight of Cups, the ability for one to express themselves emotionally. You, them, the both of you, the lovers, no doubt, strong bond between you two, which is most likely why you, let's call it for what it is, honey, you waited as long as you did. How long? I don't know, but it was enough that it felt bad to you. Okay. When we wait and we wait like that, it's not an accusation, it's life. For some people, yes. And I just try to understand so I can help you. But we got into a toxic habit of at least waiting on one person way too long. But I also see why. It's one of those inexplicably strong bonds, you know. Very strong. It's one of those kind that's strong enough that you suffer a lot of mental anguish and wondering, is this real? Do we have real feelings? I'm going to sit here for years and ask myself this question because maybe one day it'll answer itself. You knew? And they do have feeling, but it's not on display. It wasn't declarative. Was the energy available to you? Absolutely. Was it available to them? Absolutely. Would it come forward of its own accord and say, this is what I want? No. That's why you questioned as much as you did, causing yourself mental anguish and an unhealthy habit of waiting. but it's not like I don't understand. I try not to be, unless I see something seriously, seriously wrong. Like, honey, okay, why did you allow yourself to do that? And that's one of those things that's so painfully obvious. You can't help it. Oh. And then there's times when it's not obvious at all why people do what they do, but it's so terribly strong. And then we clarify the energy, we see why. I'm not trying to sit here and give you shit. I see why you did it. But after you had a taste of perpetual frustration, question, and disappointment, something had to give. I get why you did it. I'm not going to say you didn't. Oh, you should have dumped their ass, blah, blah, blah. That's just not how life works, and it's so fucking unrealistic. For low-level connections, it's very easy to have that kind of mentality. Well, I kicked their ass to the curb. Next. Right? Those are for people who are not meant to be. They don't really give a shit, or they're shallow. This is not that. When I tell you, I get why you did it. I get it. They have beautiful proposed energy within them. And it just remains a proposal. Anyway, I feel sympathetic, that's my point. The Knight of Cups, our emotional expression, our romanticism, our vulnerability, with our very strong bond here. A little bit of heart space, a little bit of vulnerability closed out. A little bit of this can go a long way. But it has its limits. If we weren't really able to express ourselves, invest in it, we lose it. These things cycle out. It may come back around again, of course, because ultimately the lovers is also a spiritual connection. That means, by extension, a lesson. If the lesson is not learned, it may come back around, but possibly in a different form. It may not be this person, it might be something else. So make sure you learn the lesson. And if you two cycle back in, may it be for the interest of repairs, because you both have learned things and that you can both choose each other without question. If you cannot choose each other without question, it will eventually close again. But if we've learned the lesson and we show it and we can prove it, we might be able to keep it next time. Depends. I hate doing that vague tarot shit. I really do. But sometimes it's true. Show me this Nine of Swords, please. That's either you, them, the both of you. I see them magicians. Go see that. That's, honey, they got the goods. That's what kills me, you know. They got the goods. The love is pure. But they have to love themselves enough to choose themselves too, before they can choose you or anyone. All things begin with the self. So you can go ahead and tell me they strung me out and they owe me and this, that, and the other. That might all well be true, but do remember, and I had this same talk with Scorpio in their last round, you chose to stay. Naturally, when we wait this long, and that's a long time, it's going to build resentment and anger. But as I said, it all begins with the self. That's anger and resentment within you, because you knew. All right? But I also see why. I don't want you to think I'm giving you shit. I just don't want it to happen to you again. That's it. It's very human shit, you know, this stuff. Like I said, if it was a low-level connection, it was best passed you by. And even their energy suggests to me that it's low-level, but it's not. Upon clarification, I told you, they got the goods, honey. They got the goods. But they have to know that first. And there's not a damn thing you can do on this earth to make someone realize that they are their best investment. That they are worth love. To choose it, to accept it. There's no mountain you can move to possibly make someone learn that. You just can't. All you can do is learn it from yourself first. Okay? Okay. Now, I want you to do what it is that you do. The independence this person says they do not have, that does not seem to be your problem. So while there might be some chafing in there, I still see you have a full heart and a strong mind. And I want you to use that in your optimism in order to move forward, yeah? Okay. Some of that Nine of Swords, some of that Nine of Swords. I'm seeing a different side to you today, honey. You might have some very sharp air in you. Very sharp. Specifically Libra. Not that that matters, it's just... there seems to be a tone in there that suggests mental conflict, but also you have strong reasoning skills at the same time. You know, that's the thing, honey, about those big brains. I know, I have one. I'm not trying to brag, it just is. Those big brains of ours, as much as they can work for us, they can work against us. If I throw enough questions at myself, I can confuse myself and find different reasons to hang in there and to hang in there and to hang in. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Oh, yeah, that big brain works both ways, honey. Especially if you got Libra in your chart. I'm also seeing Cancer here. It does not have to be. I don't quite understand the context, but for the most part I see the vehicle of their heart pointing at you. Okay? But not allowing it. Okay. Sorry, that Nine of Swords. That took me to a weird place. Nine of Swords. Show me the Nine of Swords, please. Ten of Wands, Three of Swords. Fuck me. Knight of Wands out. The energy, the enthusiasm remains in you. You're both telling me that you have suffered a great deal of hardship and heartbreak. You both mentally stress. You've already told me that. They're showing me a certain level of that as well. You're both suffering, in short, heartbreak. Strain, and it hurts. It hurts here, it hurts here, it hurts in our physical body, all of it, okay? All of it. I know. The energy, and I believe that's you, with the Knight of Wands, remains. That optimism to move forward. There might be still some lingering, passionate energy that you two might share. Not necessarily face to face. I don't think so. It looks like you are on your own. Okay? There might be that, however, attraction energy that still lingers between you two. But for the most part, there's just way too much negativity behind it to justify any positive momentum forward. Not that I see. Unfortunately, even though this is a beautifully powerful energy, what precedes it runs in the negative. So here's a positive, and I got 3 cards running in the negative. So I don't really think this has too much of an opportunity to express itself with all this backing it. Sometimes it's really not even about the cards. It's just, let's do basic math here. I have 3 negative principles and 1 positive one. I still see you doing over here. It's a little rough, but you'll be okay. This person's stronger than they know or allow themselves to learn. The discipline it takes to exercise self-worth, self-interest. This is what I'm worth. This is the love I'm worth. That is a discipline, especially if you're not accustomed to it. Especially if you always put yourself last, or your needs and wants and love doesn't count. And that's what I'm getting from this. If it was a weak-ass energy, I'd tell you, it's not that it's weak, it just doesn't seem to have an opportunity to explore itself and then actually mean it, stick to it. There's an underdeveloped sense of I count too in this person. I matter too. What I want matters too. That's the discipline they would have to learn. I shouldn't just be putting other people forward. I need to put myself forward too. And if you don't think that's a skill to develop, honey, it is. It depends on how you were brought up or your environment. It's a skill. Sometimes we have to learn our worth the hard way. So I admit, on the baseline, my initial instinct was to be dismissive of that small energy, but clarifying, with or without you, honey, I'm rooting for this person. I hope they get to where they need to be. I do. You'll be okay. Just don't do it again. You'll be okay. All right? Focus on your core principles, your productivity, your sense of balance. It seems like you're really concentrating on community, family, and friends at this time, perhaps work. The point is that you're showing yourself balance while you try to ease out of this very prevalent, patternized energy of waiting for this person. And that's going to take a minute. You put a lot of mental focus into them over, I'm assuming, years. I got a lot of 9s here. And 2 of them are actually quite positive, but they're on their side and it's under the process of discovery. I hope they get to it. You show me 9 in the negative. 9 might be an important number. The 9th, the 18th. Is September 26th important? I have no idea. Why? Where'd that come from? September 26th? Why is that important? 9/26? It's for some of you. I don't know. Sometimes it just... There it goes. Okay, let's do some advice for you. We got plenty of time. This was a short one, but it was also really straightforward. And I'm sorry that it was so indeed very painful. And it was a pain that was stretched out over a long period of time. I'm sorry. I am. The next round of readings will be the 3-month. All right? And I want to see what else it is you're focusing on. I might tune into a completely different group of Sages. I don't know. And here's what's wild. I really, well and truly, do not know if it's over. I see a cycle closing out attached to a strong bond. I don't know. Mostly I see it in reference to I just want the pain to stop. But I can see where it absolutely reached its tipping point of justification for waiting and wanting my question answered to this is unbearable. We reached that tipping point eventually. You know, the old odometer finally hit the other side. Sorry, honey. Advice, please. Advice, please, for Sag. Advice, please. Advice, please, for Sag. Advice, please, for Sag. Oh, goodness me. I did not want to see this for you today, honey. Okay. There's a little bit of edge in here, and I saw that roughness. The advice for you is actually really simple, but I could see where I would put some edge in you. 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, the Hanged Man. Spirit's like, wait, Sag, look, I know why you're leaving. I don't blame you. No one up here blames you, Sag. It's kind of like that. Universe does not contest this, Sag. We understand why you're trying to move forward, but before you move forward, continue on your pause work. Now, I'm not saying pause as in do nothing. It's reflection. When we go into Hanged Man, there is 2 types of Hanged Man, literally. This is active, passive. Passive means we're not learning shit. Active means we are trying to gain perspective. So before you completely exit, I'm not talking about waiting. That doesn't work. We know this doesn't work. You've already proven it. I'm saying gain perspective before you do a full exit. Okay? Because I still see some edge in you. I have not seen full acceptance in you. But I see an edge in you. And most of it is, well, all of it is pain. Sword, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords, etc. So Spirit does not contest your decision, not at all. It was the right thing to do, and it was likely overdue, yes? This is the obligation of understanding things, having to end things. It sucks. It hurts. And Spirit wants you to take a look at that in this energy that you have that is exiting and is correct, I believe. Look at it more. You're not done. There's a reason that flip out of the Hanged Man, which I didn't even see until after the fact, came out in all that confusion, hurt, and pain. We need to look more closely at the pain before we move forward with confidence. Okay? I want you to gain a little bit more perspective about yourself, this situation. That way, first of all, you're not likely to repeat it. Second, there's something else in here you need to learn. If you wanted to know, did they love you? The answer is yes, 100%. Did they show you or demonstrate it well? No. If that's all the answer you needed, then embrace that answer. Ask yourself, did they allow you to wait and hang around because they were a narcissistic piece of shit that just wanted your attention? Or because they loved you and they couldn't make good on it? Either way, you have your answer. If they were indeed someone who was abusive towards your energy and they just took from you and took from you because it felt good, but they weren't going to do nothing with it, then you have your answer and you can stop kicking your ass. Okay? You can stop hurting. Or you can acknowledge the fact that there's a damn good chance that they loved you, but they were not capable of showing it, expressing it, or investing in it. They couldn't invest in themselves, not in the way they wanted, or really felt that they could. But over time, for some reason, that concept degraded. And they stopped investing in their own sense of self, what they should be healing themselves to, the path that they walk in this life and in love. And they lost more and more confidence over time. That's what I see. The reasons are the reasons. I mean, I could look into it, but you probably know better than I do. Yeah. Could there be a pre-existing relationship? Yeah, that would absolutely explain everything. I haven't seen that, but yeah, that could absolutely be the case. When somebody's this prohibited but very much has feelings, that would make sense. And so Spirit says if you must go, by all means go. Okay? Just give yourself some internal closure first. And closure comes from within, not from without. Always. They just want you to give the closure that is correct for you. Okay? But yeah, no, you don't have to be in a pre-existing relationship to have this kind of energy. I've met people all the time who they've never really fostered or championed their own sense of self. And there's a consequence to be paid for that. That means you never really put yourself in a position to grasp what you want. You end up settling, forsaking yourself for others, you name it. These are the people I get very concerned about because they're the most likely the people to be used. Okay? So that's why I think Spirit's saying, hey, Sag, I respect your decision. I got it. It's cool. We're cool. We're all cool. Just give us some perspective, please. And that will help ease some of your pain. All right? You're not taking anyone's side. I get it. But I can kind of see their map, too. Okay. Okay. Queen of Wands, that's you, honey. Intuition, High Priestess, the Page of Swords. Your intuition feels that you check on them, or that they check on you, I should say. Yeah, they've already showed me that. Page of Wands, Page of Swords. I'm sure that they keep an eye on you. Your intuition feels that's correct. Doesn't matter. If you are determined to move on, it won't matter to you that they're spying on you or checking in on you. It's not always just spying, guys. Sometimes with these kind of connections that are not easy to let go, but we cannot partake in, we end up watching the other person. Yeah. It's kind of like a reference point on a map. You don't need the map. You already know what the situation is. It's just sometimes you want a visual reference that it's still there. That's why. It's not malicious. Sometimes you just check in because you're like, okay, they're still there. They're okay. They're doing okay. Right? It's not a big deal. But yes, you're correct. They do look at you. They've already shown me that they observe, but the practice is a different thing. Yeah. I know. I know. How can the energy still be there and the offer isn't? I know. Yeah. How can I have had all this energy and enthusiasm for this and nothing came out of it? That's the literal translation. I know. That's why Spirit's saying, we understand your break. Respect it. By all means, get perspective on it because you're not done. You're not done. How can I have had all that energy for this? 9 keeps coming up for you. 999. And then nothing came from it. Why? I know. So that's why. Spirit's asking you to pause. Think about it. Actually, don't think about it. Feel about it. Which scenario is true? That might help give you some closure. Okay? Okay, honey. All right. That's enough. All right. I see that most of this is after the fact. So I don't know why I'm seeing it unless this is very much on your mind. And, well, exactly. It's on your mind, but you haven't made a conclusion that fits right for you yet. And I think that's why it still stresses you out. It's like, how could I do this? How could I get involved in this? How could I allow this to happen? I don't have any closure on it. So that's why they're saying, I understand. So give it some perspective. Why do you think this happened? Why did you choose to wait? Why couldn't they develop further and say unto themselves, this is what I want, this is who I am, and I want you too? Why? Look at that. And that's where you will find your closure. Okay? I don't know why September is terribly important, the number 9 in the general sense, and for some reason I specifically got September 26th. I don't know why. Okay, anything else here in terms of imperative timing? The 23rd, Knight of Pentacles. The 23rd for some of you might be important, as well as 6 weeks. 6 weeks ago, 6 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Let's see here. 23rd. I already said that. As to what I could not say. You'll feel better? You'll feel better. Yeah. But you have to take more active strides in understanding that devil energy. I'm not saying you were bad. I'm saying it was a very hard pattern that you had with this person. You will feel better. You have to trust the process. I know. And here's the thing. You don't like thinking about it. It's the thing you need to think about, but not just think, feel through. What was the point of this? Why did you do it? Why did they do it? I don't think you want to be angry, but you still have anger in your heart. Again, I don't blame you. I do understand, but you have to understand your role in it. And then maybe why they were there at all. Yeah, it's one of those things you try very hard not to think about, and that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. I honor the break. Nobody contests it, honey. Nobody. But we do need to get more acclimated to the role we played and why. I see you kicking your ass. But why? Get to the heart of the matter. Why did you allow this? Why did you play a role in it? I get it. It was a legit connection. But it was not a connection that would come to fruition. And that's enough to piss anybody off. It doesn't matter if you put 2 weeks into it or 2 years. Or for some of you, 9. As I keep saying. Possibly more. 18. Fuck, I don't know. You want to stop kicking your own ass, turn around and look at what happened here. The break maintains, as far as I can tell. Whether it's permanent, I don't know. They're not for you now. I know that. Whether or not they will be in future, I could not say. You got enough to be getting on with as is. So let's start there. With you getting more peace of mind and more peace of heart. Make that your current goal. That's it. When we understand our roles, We can better account for them. Say, I did that shit. I figured it out. I understand why I participated. I won't do it again. Thank you very much. Okay? Yeah, that's the truth. I know. It's the truth that we need to learn. And it feels like a harsh one, man. I get it. It feels like a harsh fucking truth. I got you. Some of y'all is stubborn as the day is long. I got it. But when we allow that to come in and crash on us and have our dark night of the soul, as it were, things will feel better. Okay. C, T, J. The little bird messages, tweets, small messages, small information. And for some of you, birds are singing where you are. Do they remind you of birds? Why do they remind you of birds? A song somebody used to sing. I don't know. I don't know what it is with birds. Okay, the stingray, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, the feather, light as a feather, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Some of you are small or light. You have small frames, but a big will. Some of you have small frames, small bodies, but a big will. Yeah, I could see that. I can see that, 100%. You bet. But the feather, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then the Eiffel Tower. Of course. The height of romantic notions, but built in reality. Yes, such love is possible, but it requires work. The efforts of real hands, real labor, real work, but labor of love. The best of the best and the strongest of the strongest is available to us. Not just in fantasy, but in reality. It is possible. Perhaps you literally felt no other way, as you did for this person, and that's why you're kicking your ass so hard. Did they love you? Yeah. Did you know? Maybe not so much. If you had to keep, again, asking the question. So yeah, at first perhaps I thought maybe not. You were asking it so diligently, over and over again. Is the love real? Is the love real? I started to think maybe it isn't. It was. And you knew it. Otherwise, why else would you have stayed as long as you did? C, T, H, as I said, and then also, yeah, J, Gemini. We have the Gemini medallion. You could have some Gemini in your chart. Could be connected to one. And then the cloud. I know it feels like it's dark days, honey, and overcast. Perhaps it's cloudy where you are. And the birds sing. But also the representation of silver lining. There's. So long as you're open to love and you are willing to take a risk on it once more, there's nothing you can't do. Just make sure that you're prepared. Okay? Before you start your new journeys. Alright, Sag honey, you put in the comments as you see fit. And as I said, in a couple weeks it will be the 3-month overview. We'll see how you're doing then. Take care. Be well.